one thing about, I guess, entrepreneur mindset is it's always nice to have a business globally. One that, so while you're sleeping, while your stores are closed, perhaps if you have some business happening in other parts of the world and you're making money while you're sleeping. My dad always told me the best kind of money you can make is sleeping money.
Hey everybody, my name is Josh Rimany. I am the pharmacist that de-prescribes drugs by giving people health and wellness tips, tricks, hacks to moving their health from maybe not so good to vibrant. Follow along if you're ready to go beyond the pills.
Welcome to this episode of Beyond the Pills. I'm Josh Rimany. I am the Unpharmacist. I have a friend and colleague of mine with us today, Rene Liaw. He is the Opulence Global Senior Exec of 16 years. We are talking about a product called Fountain of Life, which is a highly potent and highly absorbable and bioavailable form of things called lignins. And if you guys have tuned into the prior episode we had, which was focused on patients, it was focused on the consumer, but it had a whole lot of science in there. So now what we're going to talk about, Rene, is how does this apply to pharmacists? Because I think you and I have connected for a reason, because this product is not available in big box stores. It's not available in channels where you can just go to Amazon and buy. Like, we want to make sure that pharmacists know that what I teach in Beyond the Pills and my mentoring is what's best for the patient outcome and the business outcome at the same time. So for me, my zone of genius is wellness and well care and healing, and teaching pharmacists how to move from that RX only, pill for the ill, symptom reduction approach to sick care towards a well care model. So if you haven't listened to our podcast before, I want to make sure this is the continuation of that, because there's a whole lot of science that we're going to recap here a little bit, but we're really going to get into the execution of how can this benefit my patient and my business at the same time. So thank you for coming in again on this one.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Again, definitely please do watch the first podcast that we just did. It's really powerful and a lot of information there. And just to answer your question a little bit, is that you're right. This is not available in the big box stores. So here in Toronto, we do already have a lot of the naturopathic type of clinics that are now, of course, carrying this product, from Chinese TCMs, naturopaths, to like your RMTs. And so the model we have is very, very actually expansive, in the sense that for the pharmacists, I guess the most traditional way that they can understand this is to become a wholesaler, essentially, and just sell for retail. And what you'll see is that the pricing here in Canada, and on the website, if you go look at the website, all the pricing is always in Canadian dollars. So from the Canadian website, if you were to have your own account set up with the US address, basically, you'll see the US pricing, but it's still in Canadian dollars. So in other words, it's actually quite affordable for people. You'll see that when you go and log in online. I guess I could say roughly here in Canada, the wholesale cost is around 50 Canadian. We sell it for around 80, 85, $90 Canadian dollars retail pricing. So converting that into US dollars, you're looking at about $40 US as a wholesaler. And of course, it retails for about $70 or $65, $70 US per bottle.
So it's affordable.
Very affordable.
And with pharmacists, there's a lot of places for them to get educated on the what. All right, the what this is, what that is. We talked about lignins and why they're so important, and really that upstream to downstream effect of what it can help with. What I got out of our podcast is, when you're working upstream, you're working on the downstream effects of the patient. And that's really why they're coming into the pharmacies. That's why patients are going to the doctors. So we talked about topical application. We talked about oral applications and going orally. And we talked also about the possible mechanistic components of it's working on the hormone cascade, it's working on the inflammatory response, which is in tune helping with the anti-immune response, which is why we see benefits for folks like the skin stuff, of course, the alopecia, the eczema, and those things, and wound care. I think that's like one that I think the pharmacist especially the compounding pharmacists, they're always concerned about formulations for things that can help with diabetic wound care. So I think that's a huge one that I learned a lot, where if you use this topically, you can do some really good work.
Yeah.
And then also obesity, insulin resistance. We talked about hormonal cascade. We talked about alopecia and hair growth because of the mechanism behind moving the pathway outside of the DHT, which is the causality of the issue, right? We lose hair not because we lose hair. We lose hair because it's got a problem downstream. It's mostly that hormonal. And then we also talked about the lignins, especially this specific kind, having that phytoestrogenic properties, which is in tune helping balance the hormones. We also talked about the body not overshooting because it's going to take and use what it needs and not use the rest, just like the body's supposed to do, which is amazing. So I think it's really important for us to say, well, if it's affordable, if it's $65 to $75 a bottle, but it's getting massive results, we can help our patients with what we're already adding to them, right? They might be getting some medication, they might be doing a compound, they might even be taking some other types of supplements. The goal here is to get them to try something topically or orally or both, depending on their condition, and just say, hey, try it. If you get good results, here's the dose. We monitor you. We see how you do the next month, because they're coming in on a monthly cycle, right? We're going to say how you're doing. And then I love the process of FOL here is really the proof is in the pudding, right? You get someone to take it. If they get a result, 90% of the time, they're getting a reorder, which means they're getting a result, because there's no reason they would reorder it unless they were getting some level of improvement in their health and well-being. So really important for pharmacists. And now we're going to talk about how do we implement this into our practice. I think from the standpoint of number one, if you have any of these things that we think it can help with, which is basically everything, is because we're helping the body balance out and getting a high level of antioxidants and lowering inflammation. I think it's really important for pharmacists to do you first when you're in wellness. So I would encourage people to buy a bottle, try it before you move to that next level. And if you get results, great. Now, if you're science like me and the science is proving and you want to get started, because there's a low level here when we're talking about becoming a wholesaler to a retailer, right? It's basically like a minimum order. So let's talk about how the pharmacies can get involved. Let's say they bought a bottle, they like it, or maybe they just want to buy a few bottles and get started. What's the process here? How does it look? Because it's a slightly different than like signing up as a practitioner and then ordering from a company and getting it at one price and selling. Like there's a little bit, you got to become a distributor here, right? So talk to us a little bit about that process and why it's important this way for you guys.
Great question. I guess the starting point is if you just want to try a bottle or two bottles, then definitely you can make your way to a website, which is fol.one/Beyond the Pills. And from there, you can just purchase a bottle just to give it a try. Now, we actually have a really cool policy, by the way. It's like a 90-day money-back guarantee. So it's really cool how we can talk about that a bit later on. However, once they get past actually trying the product, then yes, to become one of our distributors, there is like a minimum order to be deemed as one of our wholesalers. It's roughly about 2,000 Canadian, which works out to be probably about $1,700 US. But of course, you get all of that back in products, essentially. So you're just buying inventory at about $2,000 Canadian, about $1,700 US, and that locks you in as one of our distributors. And so now it allows you to go and purchase this product at the wholesale pricing. And it's very simple. Now, the beautiful thing about our model is that sometimes, and we were talking about this earlier, Josh, is that with pharmacies, typically what we've experienced here in Toronto is that they might have one location. And yet this product is so good that they want to sell it to perhaps family and friends in different cities, different states, different provinces, maybe across the globe, because we do actually service now 130 plus different countries. So what we also do for our distributors is we also enable them with their own sort of very basic version of an e-commerce website. So they could also decide to sell their product not just in their store, but also if they wanted to, they could also sell outside to the actual world. So a lot of our people who are our wholesalers, they love that because they want to get it out there and they want to reach out beyond their own sort of local area.
Mhm.
That's another option for them too. And
Yeah, I think
then
that's important for this kind of thing because, like, it's a barrier. Like in pharmacy, we have brick and mortar, right? And we have independent community pharmacies. That's our audience here. And it's like, can I get it in my stores and sell it? Yeah, sure. But like, I have a private label supplement company, and my patients, or mostly my friends and family, they know what I do. They know all my stuff's really good. I have really good price points because I always say best possible on the planet for the price. I love merging those two, but I have a disruption in how do I get it to them, right?
Mhm.
And so now we've solved that problem and made it simple. So you can send someone a direct link and they can get it through you, and you can share in that profitability.
Yeah, and typically, if you were to have your own sort of e-commerce site, when the order comes in, you have to go and package the product and go to the courier, the U.S. Postal Service, and mail it yourself, right? And then that becomes a pain for some. So actually, with our e-commerce solution, when someone orders off of your website, we actually help you do the delivery to the clientele.
Right.
So
The
you just kind of,
fulfillment's done for you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're just sharing the link, and really you're just collecting commissions, and we do all the rest of the work too. And then, of course, to add another cool aspect is that we also have found that sometimes, you might actually know another pharmacist. Or, for example, we have pharmacies here where they're trying to buy or own multiple different sites because that's how they think they can make more money, right? And so, just really cool thing to mention as well is that through our affiliate marketing program. Okay. If you happen to know of another friend, perhaps that owns another pharmacy somewhere down the street or in the city or in the country, through our affiliate marketing program, what happens though is that if your friend George owns another pharmacy and they also essentially want to become one of our wholesalers, we know that that George person was affiliated through you, and the cool thing is, imagine being able to earn some extra override commission on the sales happening at these other stores. So in our business model, we put aside some extra funds basically to also pay the affiliate marketers who refer other pharmacies to the model. I hope that makes sense, Josh.
No, it does. It's like, I think people get scared when they hear that, but right now it's all about affiliates. So what I love about the pharmacy markets is if you're hearing this for the first time and you're one that, step one, get your own benefits. Step two, get the benefit for your patients because you're improving their well-being and you're profiting from that. There's no wrongness to that. You should be able to profit off something that you introduce your patient to that's very complimentary, that could imagine giving them such a good result. And then it's just like selling a different type of supplement. And then that next step is well, yeah, if you're doing really good, this is where the old adage was, well, I want to keep that source here because I'm the only guy in town and
Yes.
everybody will come to me. But you and I seem to be more of that heart-centered space, right? We're here because we're purpose-driven on this planet. We want to help more people. When I look at wellness, not sickness, but well care, healing, the world is sick. We
Mhm.
need more people to get well. Like there is no shortage of well care providers, well care solutions. And so I love how the evolution of this company has recognized, right, from our perspective is, yeah, you can tell your neighbor and they can benefit, but you're rewarding and benefiting from that introduction to the next step. So people know what affiliate is if you know what affiliate is. And it's not for everyone. If you have a good sphere of influence of people, maybe I know pharmacists out there that have thousands of people on their Facebook page, for example,
Mhm.
and they may not all be in that store, but their influence is higher. And if those people they want to buy it from you, but then they also want to sell it and help others do it, like that whole chain can help people. And if you want nothing to do with it, that's okay too. You just buy it
Exactly.
and sell it. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it. I just think some people are off put by affiliates and multi-level marketing, and they just think it's schematic in ways, but it's like, no, if it benefits you, great. If it doesn't, ignore it and just move
Yeah.
on, because the channel, it's just what step works for you. And if they're all work for you, then great. Let's absorb that and let's embrace it.
Yeah, and from my own experience now and talking to so many different owners of pharmacies and clinics, it's actually a very exciting thing for them because traditionally they're locked into their own profits in their own brick and mortar store, right? And so when they realize the ability of just having a few extra thousand or 10,000 of extra money coming in just from either from online sales or through the affiliate program that we have, they're like, why not? And so now instead of trying to hoard it for yourself and be worried about having competitors, no one's a competitor. You can benefit from everyone because of our very special affiliate marketing program. So.
Yeah, and I think that's what the when we're speaking to our pharmacists in this podcast here is every pharmacist owner and community pharmacists, we're talking independent community pharmacy, that's who we are. Everybody's looking for something to make money on right now because the reimbursement problem is so severe. So anything can help. And I love that. Why not? I love the question, what if, right? Yeah. What if I can introduce this because I was the one that found it first? And now all the people that I talked to said, well, what about this? You can make some good money. Now it becomes this downstream ability to benefit from another channel. We're looking at channels now because that's what pharmacies are doing. We're looking for different opportunities that are beyond dispensing as channels for revenue sources. The way I look at it is I always put an and in it and help our patients' outcomes. That's it.
And to add to that as well, what we've also experienced now is that these clinics are actually getting a lot more walk-ins, the people who have just heard that this store is carrying this product, through a friend, through a customer. And so what the pharmacy should expect is actually more traffic coming into their pharmacy because they're hearing that they actually carry this product. And beyond that, because the customers who keep coming back to purchase every month or every 2 months, it gives a great opportunity as your customer is going through the aisles and looking for the product. They might pick up this and pick up that, And so what you should expect is actually just is more foot traffic, more increased sales, just because people are now walking through your doors. And oftentimes people don't just go into a pharmacy and just grab one thing. They might grab this thing, another thing. So I think they can expect to see upselling for their other products because they're going in looking for this product as well, Josh.
Yeah, I think that's when we talk about downstream effects of health, but the downstream effects of business is what we teach in our Beyond the Pills strategy, our blueprint, and our mentoring of pharmacists is moving them towards a wellness destination. Because what's the best marketing here? It's word of mouth, right?
Yes,
it's
always.
Not advertising. It's not getting on the television. It's not spending billions of dollars to getting it. It's if that person got a result, what are they going to do? Oh my God, you got to hear about this. Like everybody loves drama, but in the right way, right? So drama is, oh, this thing really helped me and this is why. And I got it from Josh at his pharmacy. So you should go there, right? That's how people get in our pharmacies anyway. But the old way was we're personal, we're friendly, we take care of you. The new pharmacy of the future, at least from my belief, is we want to become more of a wellness destination. And so if you have a product, a service, something that gives a result, right? They got from here to here, and this is how it happened, you're ultimately going to get that referral to you.
Yes.
And the other way is, we talked about this earlier, is like, all right, you start your patient, maybe it's on diabetic neuropathy, or maybe it's on a hormone balancing, or maybe it's on weight loss, or maybe it's on cancer, whatever you're using this thing for, the lignins and the antioxidant approach and moving this pathway. They're also coming in for the reorder, but they might be coming in for their medicines and other things, like you said. But pharmacists are now available to put in the notes in their computer. So at the next visit, the next time they come in, we can check and monitor for compliance. We can check and monitor for efficacy. But the next piece is, if this helped you, now you can also ask, right? You can say, if this helped you, can you help us and tell some of your friends about it and see if it might help them?
Nice.
Now you've got the double referral, but the proof is in the pudding. So it really is did they get the result? And if they do, they're going to tell others. It's natural, right? You've seen it, I'm sure, over and over and over again. So you've got testimonials. We're going to talk about, we have the science. We've got some of the studies that are shown by this specific lignin and what they help with. And I think to that note, talk to people about the renewal rate, the rate of which they repurchase this, because this is important, because this is proof, this is data. You have data to support this, right? Because people go online and they order.
Exactly.
And now how do you see that? How do you see these process working? Do people naturally go and get another and continue?
So our clinics that hold the product, they're telling us they're seeing 90% reorder ratio. They're seeing a lot of customer referrals. So from one customer, they're seeing anywhere from 5 to 10 to 20 other customers walking in. And that kind of balloons and exponentializes later on. But also from the customers who order online, we can see how many of the online customers actually reorder. And it's at over 90%. So essentially, once you have someone get on this product, you're going to be just seeing some great repeat business. And of course, not just repeat business, but new business coming in as well, too.
That's great. See, that's it's important to know, because you have the data to support its efficacy, but from a financial perspective, it's all about recurring revenue, right? So we're calling a recurring revenue model. This is what we teach in my Beyond the Pills RX to Wellness Accelerator program. This is a perfect inlay for the patients, because we're teaching a membership model in wellness in our pharmacies, and because the financial component of that is recurring revenue. So if you don't want to continuously have to recommend a product and hound them to reorder, I'll give an example, right? And sometimes you might buy a supplement, but you don't inherently feel the difference. So you may not be in the back of your head to get the reorder when it's over. But in this case, people are getting the significant value from using it. And that in itself is triggering the reorder. Hey, I don't want to stop this. And I also tell people, if you got the benefit and then it may be 3 or 4, and they're like, should I continue to take this? And then talk to people about that too, because sometimes people just stop to see, right? And then all of a sudden their health concerns come back, and then they're like, now they're double validated why it worked.
Actually, for anyone once you start using this product and give it 2-3 months, we have a 90-day money back guarantee. So the whole goal is 90 days. And you'll see, like, once you stop taking the product, it feels off. And because of that, the people who do actually stop end up going back on again. I had a customer last night who was from Taiwan and was using the product. And basically, she ended up moving to, I think, Halifax here in Canada, and called me and said, Rene, I've been off this product. I was busy traveling. I need to get more. How can I get more from you? And that seems to be the overall consensus we're getting from people who actually get off of the product, is that they want to get back on it right afterwards. So I think one other really cool thing that will happen as well too is just that people usually go to the pharmacies. I think one of the biggest reasons I've heard is because of cough or sore throat, right? And usually those are the things that you're looking for, something to try to fix your cough or your cold. And Fountain of Life is one product where, since I started using this product, I have never had a sore throat since then. It's truly remarkable. Every time I feel that little tingle happening somewhere in that throat, I just put the drops actually in my throat area for about as long as I can, let it go down slowly, and the sore throat just disappears. So I think that's a great thing, especially for the pharmacies who come in. I know that the cough and cold aisle is always like the longest aisle in these pharmacies. That's going to be a huge target market, I think, and the most immediate benefit people will see as well too.
And of course, I think it's really important there, because when you look at mechanistically, when people come in for something for sore throat, let's say they get a cough drop or a cough suppressant, they're treating the symptom of the problem, just like a drug most drugs aren't curative. They're from a chronic disease perspective, because we're talking chronic things.
Right.
But if you're adding high antioxidant value through this lignin, and it's supporting and improving the natural ability of the immune system, like I just did some studies the other day, and 55% of all Americans changed their habits towards some level of immune support based on COVID. So if people are looking to support immunity or support levels of body, I call it offense and defense. So the defensive approach is preventative, like, can I support the body's immune system so I can be more resilient to cough, cold, flu, virus type stuff? And then the other part is, what are the things I can do on the offensive approach if I do get a sore throat or I start feeling that space towards how can I improve the body's ability to get through that quicker or prevent it from happening when I hit the start button. So I think there's some things to be said about this solution that we're talking about in that respect, because some people, they come in for the symptom is what I'm saying, but we should be giving them the solution to the root cause, right? That's a whole functional approach. It's what we do in functional pharmacy. So that's a great point.
Yeah, and of course, the other one was any kind of, like you mentioned before, psoriasis, eczemas, injuries, scabs, wounds. It's very, very excellent on the skin as well, too. Even for actually skin cancer patients, we had amazing results with a stage 3 skin cancer patient, and now they're actual cancer-free, too. So I could also, at some point in time, share what the website looks like if they want to see.
Yeah, let's do that, because I think people are visual, and I think it's like, hey, it's great. I know how to buy a product from you, but I want to make sure is if I want to start as a wholesaler too, like what's the best steps here so we can track them through it and give them a little bit of a training.
So here's the website that we basically enable them with. And again, they'll have their own alias name, so their own affiliate link to their own site. And basically, this is a very, very beautifully done website that talks a little bit about the issues, of course, with the free radicals. We mentioned that in our previous podcast. And then talking about lignins, and what are lignins exactly, where they come from. And then we go on to a little bit of the studies as well too. So again, all of the new websites, the new trend is that everything is like on one page. You keep on reading down, right? And so why eat lignin-rich food? Some more stats there. And moving down, of course, into just more graphics, more lifestyle, more emotions. That you always want to have that on your website. And you can just go and buy now, showing how the 10 drops is equivalent to all these different sources of lignins, which you just can't consume that much in physically speaking. And of course, some more of the benefits with the hair health. And here we actually break apart into different parts here: prostate health, dementia, heart health as well too. There's a few more at the back here actually I can show you, to diabetes control, reducing breast cancer risk, to your DNA, other benefits as well too. And so it's a very nice, simple website. Has all of the basic information that your customer might want to read about. And so it's all their testimonials as well too, and the benefits. So basically, again, you could just sell it in your pharmacy if you wanted to. But if you had someone that you wanted to have them try it, they live somewhere in a different city, different state, different country, you can give them a link to your website. They can come here and actually make a purchase. And again, so earlier you asked me about the payment and how payments are made, right? So basically, everything is paid into your e-wallet, okay? And it's your own secure back office domain. And we use a company called iPayout. That there's different ways of using iPayout to get your commissions. The most easiest way is direct deposit. So you set up your bank account with iPayout, and you can transfer money from your e-wallet that you've earned directly into your bank account. The other option is to request for the prepaid debit credit card, where we can put your commissions onto a credit card if you wanted to. And the third way is through a form of a check. But the most common way is just the direct deposit.
Most people want to go direct. It's faster. It's easier. There's no fees involved. That's good to know. And then what I teach too is sometimes pharmacies in this day and age, because of obviously it's really secure, but a lot of pharmacists will say, well, I'm running a lot of deposits through that main account. Well, I always encourage having a separate account for things like your offshoot affiliates or your offshoot things, and you can now transfer money from one account to the next account, but you can also track your sales better than dumping it all into your, pharmacies are spending millions of dollars on drugs, and their concern is breach of this and that. It's very safe, it's all encrypted, but if you have that concern and you don't want to attach an ACH to your main account, well, get a small account and just use it for the things that you're doing from this perspective, not your whole business model. You can do it any different ways.
And speaking of tracking your customers, we have that as well. So in our e-commerce model as a distributor, you can see exactly which customer open an account and place the order and what was the order and what is your profit. So we have the dashboard. Yeah,
cool.
Everything's
Nice.
there for you. And you can add multiple addresses. Yeah, so it's really just it's like a turnkey business. Everything's made for you already. And so I just think that we're going to, number one, help change so many lives with this product. And so many people are looking for better solutions, especially in some countries where like healthcare is really limited. And in some countries in Asia especially, you don't have good healthcare. And people are paying out of their own pocket for these very expensive drugs or insulin. And so we're going to help a lot of people out there. And of course, in return, I believe that the more that you give, I believe that the more that you should also get in return as well. So
a go giver like myself. I love that. I love that space is like you give not to get, right? That's also the piece is this is an affordable product. It's not sold and chained. You have exclusivity to this particular lignin and how it's produced. We talked on the podcast on why it's produced through the Norwegian spruces and where it comes from.
Northern Finland.
From Finland, and the harshness of the environment creates a more beautiful product.
Yes.
So nature is providing something when we think it might be harsh. It's like, no, it's harsh for a reason. And activity actually translates into why it's a more superior product.
Actually, one thing to also add, it might come up as a question from some of the pharmacies, is that we do have patents behind this product. And so again, we have a lot of trade secrets and patents behind it. And you just can't get this anywhere else in the world. Like, we're the only ones that have the global exclusive rights with the scientists. So they have a great, just almost like a very exclusive product that they can carry in their stores. So I think it's going to be very beneficial for them.
So we've talked. That's great. We've talked about how you can buy the product to try it. We've given that. We'll give that link. We've talked about what the back end website would look like if you have a site that you want to use in your Facebook post, a link for your patients, friends, family across the country and world. And now let's talk about the wholesale component. Like, we know that there's a minimum order. It's a minimum to get started, but that's directly translates to product. So it really is a minimum order.
Yeah. Yes. We do have 3 different minimum order quantities. And so the more that you do that one-time order, the better your actual discount. So for example, we have the discounts are a 20% discount, 30% and 37%. So if you want the low price and the highest gains, you want to come in at that 37% discount. And so that one is the $2,000 Canadian order, roughly. The 30% discount is about $1,300 Canadian minimum order. And the 20% one is about $700 minimum order. So again, most people just choose the highest discount because they want to make the most profits. And that's a $2,000 order that you actually went through as well too. Yeah.
Yep. And there's ways to slide up if you want to, right? It's not like you're stuck in one space. Because exactly. Some people are hesitant, and that's okay. You try before you buy. You want to make sure it's going to work. I like that it's the disc profile. You like the safety profile of that. And then other people are first adopters. They say, I'm all in. I'm going to figure, I have 5 applications I can already use this with. I'm going to go all in. But you can slide and get better, because when we say discount, that just means margin to me. Like, that's your margin.
Exactly. It's your
and you want to, in this environment, because it is the way that it is like pharmacies, they're used to the 20% margin in their drugs, and we don't like that. We want to get the higher margins because that's where we get better benefit. But the way I look at it is, you guys are saying more skin in the game. We give you more skin in the game.
Exactly. And one of the really great things, again, just to go back to the affiliate side of it, is imagine earning 2, 3, 4% on the sales. done by these other pharmacies that were linked through your affiliate account, right? So it can really pile up. And yeah, to add some quick notes here, every year, just to keep your affiliate site going, it's $100 Canadian, but you actually get back 2 bottles of Fountain of Life. So it's really nothing. It's you're just getting 2 more bottles of FOL to keep year by year by year. And so the only other thing is to maintain that highest discount of 37%. All that has to happen is that on a monthly basis, the minimum order that must go through, okay, is only 150 Canadian. And so it's like 3 bottles of FOL. Now, the nice thing is you don't even have to order the 150 every single month. You can actually, we have a feature called shopping credits or credits. So you can just even subscribe and pay a monthly 150, and we can bank that 150 in your account. So let's say you want to put 150, 150, 150, because most of the pharmacies will order what's called a family pack. That's where when you buy 12 bottles, 12 of FOL, you get 1 bottle for free. And so instead of paying 150 and getting 3 bottles every month, they'll just bank it up 150, 150, 150 for 4 months roughly, and then buy the family pack. So yeah, so that's the only criteria to keep your highest discount or the highest profit of 37%. If you choose not to do any kind of a monthly reorder, then you'll have the 30% discount. And that's just how it works.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. But if they do the family pack, they get an additional bottle for free.
Yes.
So that's on top of the 37.
Exactly.
So if you were to use and sell that bottle, you're actually getting an 8% improvement. So you're moving your mark. So it's just it's a divergent way to get, like, I love solving problem. Like if I buy in 12s and I get one free, my margin is actually better than 37.
Yes.
So we're moving up towards, this is the way you get to the nutraceutical space, is like, we're talking here skin in the game, right? If you go out and tell 5 of your buddies and they do the same thing, and you buy it 12 at a time, and you're at this tier 37 plus 8 plus 4. Now we're moving the margin up, the total space, which then, like you said, it just starts to make sense.
Yes.
Now, if you put zero energy on it and it holds in your store and you do nothing, well, you're going to get nothing out of it. So you get what you give here. And again, it starts by starting, right? Start with yourself. Even if you want to do friends and family, if you don't want an account, just buy a few bottles and then see, right?
Yes.
And then the way I got introduced to it, and this is happy. Why don't you could also take your 12. I just love different options, right? You buy 12, you get one free. That one free is a givable, right?
Yes.
You could give it to a friend. You could give it to a family. You could even give it to a customer that you love that probably is already buying and spending a lot with you. And you're like, hey, why don't you try this? I think it'll work. If you come and reorder, it's going to cost this, but I love on you so much. I want you to just try it, because it's like my friend, we were talking earlier about like people that are consult me on what they can do with their health. Is I'm gonna use a few of my bottles and just send it to them. Be like, hey, I want you to start this and see what happens. I don't care about the money right now, because if you'll get that reorder because you get the benefit, that go-giver in me says I've done humanity a really good job. So if you like to give. If you like to make more money, here's a way how you can do it, right? We're giving their options.
Yeah, I think one of the really cool thing is that one thing about, I guess, entrepreneur mindset is it's always nice to have a business globally. One that, so while you're sleeping, while your stores are closed, perhaps, if you have some business happening in other parts of the world and you're making money while you're sleeping. My dad always told me the best kind of money you can make is sleeping money. So it's really expansive. It can really take.
I resonate with that completely, because that's part of this. Like, you can incentivize your clients, because this isn't what happens in pharmacy, by the way. Like, there's no leveling of this. Is they buy a product, they get a good result, they're going to reorder it, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to come and buy it from you. But when I teach wellness in pharmacy, my best customers are also teaching other pharmacists the same thing. So here's the it's just opportunity, right? This is the new age and way, but making money while you sleep is something that is easy once it's started, right? Because those are all reorders. If people are reordering at a 90% clip and you get 5 people, then you get 10 people, and all of a sudden you got this thing going that just says, oh, and it's not like, again, if it's not for you, great. If it is for you, embrace.
Also, one thing we also know is, again, this could probably reapply to the pharmacies here, is that sometimes you have someone who has family overseas, because most people here in Toronto are not from Toronto. They come from all parts of the world,
sure.
Right? Same with the US probably, right? So is that they want to buy something and they want to give it to their family back in China, for example. And the only way they would used to do that is someone has to go and buy 10 bottles or 12 bottles and hand carry the thing back on a plane back to China or Africa or Nigeria or Australia, right? So the cool thing here is that if you have someone that wants to buy more of this product for their family in a different part of the world, we are already set up to allow that to happen seamlessly with our system. They don't have to go and try to find someone who's flying back to Turkey tomorrow, kind of thing, right? So I just wanted to make sure that paint the.
Well, that's good to know, because especially me, like I have entrepreneur friends all over the world because I'm in a network that's global. And so if I introduce this to them, I can say, well, here you go. You can go get it. It's fine.
Exactly.
So that's a nice, I know all of pharmacists have stories where maybe their family member or some of their customers or a child, they're overseas and they have to buy all these medicines and all these drugs and all these supplements, and then they bring them to them, and it's like so clunky. So
and then go
nice
to
to know that we have that.
Airport security, they're checking, why do you have this whole case of pills? And so we made it a lot easier for that. So
cool. So we're going to teach people how to order it, get started, wholesale it, and also affiliate if they choose.
Full support system. Any questions that you have, we have a whole system on making sure that any question you have, we have a 24/7 almost a customer service line. So we're all there ready for you guys.
Amazing. Awesome. I think this was very helpful. It's a tool. The goal is here, what can we do beyond the pills that's going to help our patients and help our bottom line at the same time? I think this one fits really well. And it also is very motivational for people in this day and age, because our patients are seeking alternative solutions to the things that they're not getting solutions for. So you may get your patients who are stuck with where they're already at, and this might be something that you could simply recommend. I always say you don't sell, you offer. So you offer this. You share them the information that you know. You share them some of the science. You share them, maybe it's I've tried it myself and this is what I like, right? I always do that. I do that all the time. So
one thing that I found that really works is that, in the store, you might have one little section with the Fountain of Life. And then we actually, a lot of our successful clients, they put a little book there with a bunch of different stories. So now your customers walking through is flipping the pages. Wow, it helps with diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, fatty liver, gout. And then, so it's selling by itself. Some other clinics, they actually have a small little iPad or TV, and it's just flashing through every 2 seconds. It's a new testimonial, right? So just more ideas for the pharmacies to generate.
And that brings another point is you guys also can provide things like marketing resources and pamphlets and stuff.
Oh, right? We have everything. We have big banners, we have brochures, we have flyers, we have videos. So you can load up a whole TV screen and just be flashing things. So a lot of pharmacies have a waiting area. Let's say someone wants to get a COVID shot or something like that, right? There's a waiting area. And so on the TV, you have just images going through of all the testimonials. And naturally, someone's going to ask you, well, how much is this thing? Okay, well, and let me go and try a bottle as well, too. So
nice. Awesome. So marketing resources, ways to educate their patient. I'm smelling a masterclass webinar that I'm going to be recording for my patients now, like after the podcast. So amazing. Thank you, Rene. This is great. Thank you for helping pharmacies go beyond the pill, helping their patients and their bottom line at the same time.
Thank you so much. All the best. Thank you, Josh, for your time. Thank you.
All right. Stay well.
You too.
Thanks for listening to the Beyond the Pills podcast. You can find Josh on LinkedIn and Facebook at Josh Rimany and on TikTok at Beyond the Pills. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd be forever grateful if you left a review wherever you get your podcasts. If you know somebody who wants to go beyond the pills, send them this episode. If you've got any specific questions or ideas for future episodes, reach out to Josh and send him a message. Thanks again for being a part of the Beyond the Pills community. We'll see you next time.